Minister of Finance says the SPV Portal will be opened this Friday, July 31st. Member of Parliament for the National Alliance queries the reopening of schools. And Prime Minister of St. Martin has announced the closing of the internal borders by Prefet on French St. Martin. Those are the headlines for Thursday, July the 30th, 2020. And this is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thanking you so much for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a packed newscast for you this evening, so let's get started. In our first story, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, has announced on Wednesday at the Virtual Council of Ministers weekly press briefing the closing of the French border by Prefet Sylvie Fauchère. The Prime Minister told reporters that she has had several phone conversations regarding the internal border controls, and that is due to the increase of COVID-19 cases on the Dutch side of the island, which prompted the Prefet to close the internal borders.
In our telephone conversation, the Prefet, after consulting with the relevant minister in France and the ARS in Guadeloupe, Madame Denoux, she has determined and decided that she will be instituting border controls, internal border controls, due to her concern with the high number of COVID cases on Dutch St. Martin. The French side also has registered today, as of today, 8 active cases, and they are carrying out or expecting to carry out, due to the weather, they will start tomorrow with more community testing. In our discussions with the collectivité, we as Government of St. Martin also determined that we would do more community testing. I can assure that, and I did assure also Madame Fauchère, that many of our St. Martin residents, Dutch St. Martin that is, have been coming forward with and reporting symptoms over the past 2 weeks, and that is why we are able to actually give our actual numbers. We will stay tuned and in communication with our French counterparts. The ARS and the CPS department working on the health on Dutch St. Martin are in constant contact. The authorities, justice authorities, continue to also collaborate and cooperate, as we are also still facing this storm as one island as well. And while we on the Dutch side, as Government St. Martin, have not taken a decision to institute any border controls, the French territory is the purview of the Prefet, and as her decision will stand for the citizens of French St. Martin, I will like to inform the citizens of Dutch St. Martin that their movements to the French side will be limited as of Friday, 12 p.m. So any movements after Friday, 12 p.m. will be monitored by the authorities on French St. Martin, and only persons needing to travel to and from French St. Martin for work purposes, health purposes, or to care for elderly or sick or children will be allowed, as was done in the past. So I ask the persons who need to make those movements to ensure that they have the necessary documentation by Friday, 12 p.m., upcoming July 31st.
And the Prime Minister also announced that fumigation took place at the Government Administration Building over the weekend, and that was due to the COVID-19 contact tracing. 2 civil servants were identified, and as a precaution, they were sent home to be quarantined.
Fumigation of the government building took place over the weekend on the 3rd and 1st floor, as well as the elevators. They were all fumigated and sanitized on Sunday as a precautionary measure. This was due to the fact that due to COVID-19 contact tracing, 2 civil servants were identified that work on the 3rd floor, and to avoid any cross-contamination should they be determined to be COVID positive, they were sent home to be quarantined, and it was determined that we would do the sanitization of the areas within their proximity. So there are no COVID-19 positive civil servants at the moment, but we do have 2 civil servants who are quarantining as possible contacts of someone with COVID-19. We continue to wish them well, and as we know, the stigma is definitely not necessary in this situation. It is a matter of health and precaution and ensuring that all are safe.
And in other news for you at this time, regarding the consumer complaints about Building Back Better, member of the Anti-Poverty Platform, Dr. Randus Raymond Gisseroun, addressed the Prime Minister and the members of Parliament about the issue with the NRPB and the home repairs. At their weekly press briefing today, July the 30th, Mr. Gisseroun says that where it pertains to the needs and complaints from consumers, the Prime Minister and members of Parliament also could have asked them for updates.
The consumer complains about home repair and Building Back Better and Stronger. Prime Minister and members of Parliament, just as the Ombudsman in the beginning of May approached our coalition and requested an update from the Consumers Coalition on the housing needs and complaints from consumers, you also could have asked us for an update on the complaints received. Here are, for your information, summarized questions and complaints concerning the Building Back Better and Stronger implementation and the non-compliance of the NRPB, which has been charged with the execution of the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. We have reported these issues too to the Ombudsman in the beginning of May of this year. Complaint number 1, discriminatory qualification criteria. Consumers have been registering almost everywhere to get assistance for their home repair without getting feedback, or only to be hearing that they do not qualify for assistance to get their home repaired. The Ombudsman, in their report on the housing situation, also complained about these discriminatory criteria. Hurricane Irma has damaged 70 to 80% of the available housing in St. Martin. That is in the NRP report. This is between 13,000 to 15,000 homes. There are more than 13,000 poor and needy households in St. Martin. How is it possible that they do not qualify for better built homes? The NRPB, as far as we know, has only targeted repair of 140 homes. According to Vromi, the demand for housing at that time was double the supply. So what is the status of demand and supply at the moment? When did the NRPB target all these consumers who registered with Vromi in need for a house? How many of these consumers got their homes built back better and stronger? Complaint number 2, the need for social homes. Consumers went to register with the Housing Foundation, and until today, they have not received the keys to a new home. Immediately after Irma, the waiting list for housing almost doubled to 3,000 candidates. How much of these candidates are now on the waiting list for housing? When did the NRPB targeted construction of homes for these 3,000 plus consumers in need for a house? The social housing stock in St. Martin consisted of 200 emergency homes, 470 homes in Belvedere, and 94 homes in Hope Estate. What is the current social housing stock? The St. Martin Housing Development Foundation managed 769 homes for people with an income below 3,500 guilders. What is the situation now after 3 years? The St. Martin Housing Development Foundation is still awaiting funding for the home repair of houses they have now under their management. They cannot even construct more social homes to accommodate the consumers on their waiting list.
And still to come, President of the Y2 says they had no input at all regarding the reopening of schools. We'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. And as we continue now with more news, at the reconvened parliamentary meeting of July the 28th, Member of Parliament Angelique Rameau queries the reopening of schools. She would like to have clarification as it pertains to the repairs to the schools. The Prime Minister passed that question on to the Minister of Education, Dr. Randall Rodolph Samuel, who then responded to the Member of Parliament about why the repairs are not being done.
I would like to have clarifications on the answers as they pertain to the repairs of the schools. Mr. Chairman, through you to the Honorable Prime Minister, in your answer as it pertains to the schools, you indicated that the repairs will not be forthcoming soon for the schools, as there seemed to be an issue with tenders that need to take place in order for these repairs to happen. I am not quite understanding this. I would really like to know, how could it be possible that this is ongoing? We're currently in the hurricane season and school is also supposedly to resume within 2 weeks. And as the Honorable Prime Minister answered in round 1, with my question as it pertained to education being a priority, it was indicated that students and our teachers in education is a priority. So I would like clarification as to why isn't the persons who are in charge of this fighting tooth and nail to make sure that these repairs are done. And then as it pertains to the budget, Honorable Prime Minister, your answer was not quite clear, so I would like to have clarification on that as well.
In regards to the 19 schools that would have to be repaired since Hurricane Irma, the first meeting I had with NRPB on the 8th of May, we were informed that the 19 schools, the bid to repair the schools would take place in December 2020. So when hearing this, I said to NRPB, this is definitely unacceptable. And I, in that meeting, made a suggestion, which I'm grateful today for NRPB for picking up the suggestion. And the suggestion was that we will pull 6 schools forward out of the 19. The 6 schools would be pulled forward and they would go on a fast track system in order to have them prepared for the upcoming school year. So we are talking May. I then put a team together and they went out and they began the preparations for these 6 schools. And in the end, it became 7. The 7 schools are mentioned: Lionel Connor School, Sister Regina School, Mac High, St. Dominic High, Milton Peters College, Sundial, and St. Joseph School. And after this took place, the assessment of the schools was assigned to a company to take place, and this has happened, so we are also happy about that. Yesterday was a next meeting that we had with NRPB, specifically in regards to the repairs of the 7 schools. We have had a report from NRPB that the
cost to repair the schools was going higher than they could have used to fast track. So in the discussion yesterday with NRPB, we understood that the assessments would be ready, I think, this week or next week, and they would be forwarded to ECYS in the course of the week, and we are awaiting them. When this takes place, I believe NRPB will then go over to the preparation of the bid, and this would enable us to have at least the first school beginning to be repaired in August this year. That is what we have in our head. We are awaiting the assessments from NRPB. When this is sent to us, we can also forward it to the Parliament.
Meanwhile, President of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, Claire Elshot, in response to a question posed to her by a reporter regarding the reopening of the schools on August 10th, 2020, at their weekly press briefing this morning, which was held earlier today, the Y2 president told our newsroom that they had no input at all with regards to meetings with the Minister of Education to discuss the reopening of schools.
The union leader had absolutely no input at all. Absolutely none at all. We had meetings, yes, with the Minister of Education, where we got an update on the repairs for schools, which schools will be repaired and which time frame, more or less, the bidding process, and that we got an input. But with regards to the reopening of schools of August the 10th, we have not have any input at all. We have not heard anything officially from the minister. We have not been invited to a meeting to discuss the safe opening, where it will not be only safe for the students, but also for the teachers. And that for us is worrisome, especially in the light of this new spike of COVID-19 of the last week. The new spike in, even in the government building and all over. This is very worrisome to us. We have taken note of the fact that the Catholic School Board have issued a press release about their intention and their safety measures, but from the Ministry of Education and the Minister, towards your question, towards your honorable leader of the Windward Islands Teachers Unions, we have not heard anything, absolutely. We have had no contact at all.
What are your members saying in terms of the reopening of schools?
My members are concerned, and the board have now, this morning after the weather, have instructed us to seek an urgent meeting with the minister to be able to, clarify and seek clarity on this matter of the opening, especially to make sure and to ensure that all schools would have the proper measures in place to ensure the safety of our members and also the students.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for today, July the 30th, 2020. At 11 a.m., the center of tropical storm Isaias was located near latitude 18.1 north, longitude 68.9 west, or about 380 miles west of St. Martin. The system is moving towards the northwest away from St. Martin near 20 miles per hour or 31 kilometers per hour. A west-northwest to northwest motion with some decrease in forward speed is expected over the next few days. On this forecast track, the center of Isaias will move over Hispaniola today. Maximum sustained winds are near 60 miles per hour or 95 kilometers with higher gusts. A broad area of low pressure located a few hundred miles south-southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands have become more concentrated this morning. Some development of this system is possible during the next day or two before environmental conditions become unfavorable. So the outlook through Saturday midday, partly cloudy and breezy with isolated showers possible. Now, let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, Minister of Public Health gives update on the latest COVID-19 cases. We'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And in news out of the Netherlands for you at this time, official consultations between the Netherlands and Curaçao, Aruba, and St. Martin about the conditions that The Hague has set for new corona loans have not yet led to the prospect of a breakthrough. The countries have each proposed adjustments, but according to insiders, the Netherlands is only prepared to meet the wishes in minor areas, such as clarifying formulations that can be explained in more detail. However, the Netherlands refuses to make concessions regarding essential elements of the conditions package. Civil servants from the Ministry of Interior and Kingdom Relations would be open to alternatives, but only if they yield the same results. Structurally manageable public finances and a resilient economy with a well-functioning labor market. The Netherlands certainly does not wish to lose sight of the supervision by a Caribbean reform entity. The source of the discussions, according to the sources, is that despite the repeated advice from the Financial Supervision Board, the countries do not have their financial management in order, so that there are doubts about the numerical substantiation of counter proposals. And in other news, Minister of Public Health Richard Panaflex, speaking at the weekly Council of Ministers press briefing on Wednesday last, gave the latest COVID-19 cases. According to the Minister of Public Health, we are currently at 45 active cases. The minister also says that the community has to brace ourselves for the reality of a rapid spike in COVID-19 cases.
As of July 28 at 5 p.m., the Ministry of VSA was informed by Dr. Raisa Chong Comfort that we are currently at 45 active cases. While we brace ourselves for the first test of severe weather condition for 2020 hurricane season, the community also has to face the reality of a rapid spike in the number of COVID-19 cases. Of the active cases, local health authorities are monitoring 43 cases in home isolation. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin early this year is currently at 64. 194 people are now in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS on persons who may have been in contact with any of the 45 active cases. In continuing the effort to control the spread of the virus, CPS has now tested 151 people at the Princess Juliana International Airport and 690 people throughout the community. As the numbers increase for the positive cases, CPS continues to actively execute its contact tracing measures, which will likely reveal more cases before the numbers begin to reduce. There is still a need to ensure absolute safety while we work towards managing the increase in COVID-19 cases. We cannot stress the importance of wearing masks, social distancing, and washing your hands with soap or using proper hand sanitizers enough. These are the only steps that we as a community can take to ensure that we reduce the spread and flatten the curve as the fight against COVID-19 continues.
And still to come, Tucci Foundation helps students pursue tertiary education. I'll have the details of that story when SXM Daily News returns. And as we continue now, at the weekly Council of Ministers press briefing on Wednesday last, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Ardwet Irion, announced that while it took longer than usual, the SZV portal will be open this Friday, July the 31st. The Minister of Finance also updated the press about the budget and the conditions for the civil servants. He elaborates.
To update the public that it took a little longer than we wanted, but the SPV Portal will be open this Friday, July 31st, and will close again August 14th. The reason for the delay in the opening of the portal was the changes we had to make, due to the CFT and the basic conditions changing. Also, the calculations on presenting the calculations to SZV and confirming the calculations. We are now ready to open the portal on July 31st. Yesterday afternoon, I also met with a team that is currently working on the budget and also working on the conditions for the civil servants that were also put on us by the CFT and the BZK. We have a couple of other some scenarios that we would like to discuss with the unions, so we will be contacting them shortly to have a possibly informal meeting to discuss our new scenarios, also based on the new, not conditions remain the same, but the new idea of how it can be done. Also take into consideration the latest advice given by CFT on the conditions. So hopefully we're going to finalize the information this week and contact the union shortly to have possibly an informal meeting before we do a formal meeting on the conditions.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, Tucci helps students pursue tertiary education. A young St. Martiner, Nikita Ambrose, is now better equipped to start pursuing her tertiary education in the Netherlands, thanks to a donation received from the St. Martin Tucci Foundation earlier this month. Nikita is the daughter of one of Tucci's longtime recipients, the late Angela Ambrose, who passed away in November of 2019. Angela had been a Tucci recipient since 2009. In an effort to help Nikita on her educational journey, Tucci provided her with an airline ticket, pocket money, reusable masks, a technology blanket, warmer bag, and Tucci founder Master Cheng Yang's Jingis in 5 languages. Nikita aspires to become a chef, and she was advised to look into the major causes of global warming during her journey. Tucci Commissioner Sandra Cheng said that a chef can help save lives through the preparation of healthy meals. Nikita thanked the St. Martin Tucci Foundation for its generous donation and for helping to jumpstart her journey to obtain a tertiary education. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.